Hello everybody and welcome into FEG PC Money Racing here on Wednesday night at Talladega. We got a good one for you in store. Welcome to Ghost Racing Network. You are watching the Green Ghost. First stream we are having on Ghost Racing Network. We thank you for joining us as we are seeing these guys taking the track for group qualifying tonight. A little bit of a different format than what we usually see. Usually these guys are going at it solo, but tonight it is going to be groups. Taking a look now at Rocky Thickstun, one of the new drivers. Have not seen him out before. These guys all trying to group up as we are going to take a look at one of the packs. This is Kenneth McCall Jr. trying to catch onto this pack of all Team 3 drivers. See if we can set the fastest lap here. Autumn Koger, another one of the McCall Motorsports drivers. She's looking to catch up the pack. It's looking like right now the main pack, and what's probably going to be the fastest pack right here, is going to be these 4 trucks. These are all Team 3 drivers. However, I would not be surprised to see that 03 truck we initially talked about of Ken McCall Jr. run the fastest lap, as he is getting a huge pull from these trucks now and make their way to the inside of him. See if that changes this up at all. We do have a doubleheader here tonight for the FEG Money Racing. This one is going to be a 40-lap sprint, $300 payout, top 5 getting paid out, and then followed by shortly after this, which will also be streamed here on Ghost Racing Network. We are going to have the second race of the doubleheader, which is also going to be a 40-lap shootout, but $200 higher payout of $500. Got about a minute, 45 seconds left in qualifying. Things are starting to tighten up. Stick with some of these other drivers here. You see the second pack now is cotton on. And I'll tell you what, we have a very strong field tonight. I can't even see all the drivers. I think I see at least 20 to 25 of them. We're going to have a good race for sure. You see the drivers not on track at the moment, as anybody over 4,000 I rating does have to start in the rear of the field. So that is going to be a little bit of a challenge for those drivers, as we know they are a little bit more skilled than some of these other guys in terms of I-rating score. We have them go to the back, make a little bit more of a run for their money to get all the way up here to the front. And while we are sitting here qualifying before the main action gets underway, you see these guys are 3 wide in qualifying. A little bit interesting there. Autumn Kroger working the top lane. She's got teammate Kenneth McCall behind her. You see Larry McDonald, another McCall Motorsport driver in the middle. As I was just going to say, anybody that's new here and that's just tuning in, this is the first stream that I am doing here, partnering with Bryce here on Ghost Racing Network under YouTube, so very exciting. Still going to be a lot of stuff to come in the coming streams, different overlays, better overlays, all things to work on right now. We just got new audio quality, so we're hoping that's better. Took a little bit to get the YouTube working properly, but we got it up. Seems like it's running smooth now. You guys let me know in the chat if there's anything you would like to see more of, volume, quality, and I'll let you know what I can do to fix it for you. 13 seconds left to go in qualifying. This is going to be these drivers' final lap right here, if they even make it all the way. I'm not sure they are at the current moment. It looks like it is J.R. Johnson topping the board. We'll see if he can hold that time, and that's what it's looking like at the moment. White flag, that's going to wrap up qualifying. These drivers all just going to pile it up now. As they start to slowly work their way onto the grid and whatnot, we are going to take a quick break, get everything set up. Stick with us. You are watching Ghost Racing Network. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everybody, to Talladega Super Speedway here for a 40-lap race
All right,
tonight.
guys. Thank you
FEG
guys
Money
for coming
Racing.
out
Give me just one
this
sec to
Wednesday
fix
night.
this audio
Appreciate
real
it.
quick. All right, and we're back. We got that fixed. Let the drivers keep to themselves. We will get ready here to read your starting grid for the night. So we are currently getting it set up. And tonight, as we saw there towards the end of qualifying, it looks like your pole sitter is going to be J.R. Johnson, one of the drivers we don't see in here too often. New driver, rookie getting himself on the pole. Congrats to JR. Second going to be Jeffrey Cox, another new driver. Third, Josh Bonwell. Fourth, John Mullahan. Two Team 3 drivers making up that second row. Fifth, Ambrose Kniebel. Sixth, James Kaufman. Seventh, Kenneth McCall Jr. Eighth, Danny Eichelman. 10th, Autumn Koger. Sorry, I forgot about 9th, Mark Vondell. 10th, Autumn Koger. 11th, Jimmy Sox. 12th, Ron Morris Jr. 13th, it's going to be Rocky Thickstone. 14th, Larry McDonald. 15th, Travis C. Trussell. 16th, Matt Lee, and this is where we start to get into those drivers that did have to start in the back. 17th, Matthew Baker. 18th, Dylan Jones. 19th, Daniel Eberhardt the third. 20th, Art Greco. 21st, looks like Dijon Monte. I apologize if I said your name wrong. And 22nd is going to be William H. Scott Jr. It looks like that is going to round out your field. So it looks like we do have a field of 22 drivers tonight. That is a strong showing here. The first of 2 race doubleheader we will be having tonight. Let's go back up front now. So we take a look at your pole sitter for tonight. The man of the hour, J.R. Johnson, with a fast lap group qualifying. Gainesville, Georgia driver. Ready to get to the action here. Pace car has got these drivers rolling on their warm-up lap. We will be taking the green this first time around. Let's take a look at your race info here. We are at Talladega Super Speedway. Looks like a little bit of an overcast day towards the end of the day. A little bit wind not going to be a factor. Neither are tires really. You might see some of these drivers take tires during the green flag pit stop, or if we get a caution, but you certainly don't have to have tires in this 40-lap shootout, so we'll see who takes them. It is a 2.66-mile super speedway. That means a lot of drafting, a lot of pushing, and always the chance for the ever-looming big one that we see at a lot of these super speedways. See what happens tonight. Again, if you are just tuning in, you are watching Ghost Racing Network here. First stream hosted by the Green Ghost. Got a solid field stacking up tonight. You're watching FEG Money Racing on a Wednesday. See if we can get a new driver winning tonight. We got a couple rookies lining up that first row in that 37 truck and that beautiful looking 11 truck on the outside. Name of the game here on the restarts usually comes down to who in the second lane can get there first. Thank you, Bryce. Turn that down a little bit. You'll have to let me know if that's any better. If not, please feel free to let me know again. But as we make our way out of turn 4 here, the pace car is going to pull off. Starter's got the green flag in hand. He's ready to go. The fans on their feet. We got Team 3 lined up in that second row. There is a 3-wide rule tonight. These drivers will not be able to go 3 wide right off the bat. They're going to have to wait a couple laps. That will be a little interesting to watch how it plays out. We'll see if that gives Team 3 enough time to stack up. Green flag is out, though. The 37 leads to the green. It looks like the 11 has a little bit of a checkup on that outside lane. Josh Mullahan's going to run into the back of him. That's going to give the advantage now to the inside lane. Josh Bonwell, he's thinking about going high. He can't get clear for the moment. Outside lane trying to regroup, get some momentum working here for this back stretch. Out of turn 2, Josh Bonwell, he is going to look to the high side. Oh, it's a little late, though. The 11 has to go high to keep from wrecking. A little bit of aggressive move early, but that's going to put his 2 Team 3 teammates of John Mullahan, James Kaufman behind him. We'll see if that works, as that is going to shuffle the 11 One of the drivers who we saw start on the grid, Jeffrey Cox, he is going to be shuffling to the back at the moment unless he can find somewhere to drop in line. Definitely trying his best, just not a great position for him to start at. Working their way through the tri-oval for the first time. Still all the 37 on the bottom. He now has Ambrose Kniebel, who is a very good pusher behind him. Good to see Ambrose back in the field tonight. Had to deal with some weather for the last about week and a half. Gotta wonder if he is currently driving while under the influence. Ambrose loves his Miller Lite. Good to see him back out here, though. Still towards the front, though, it is all that 37 truck of J.R. Johnson. He took the green lead in, and he has held it since. But now here comes the outside of Josh Bonwell again. He's starting to build up just a little bit more momentum than the inside. He still can't seem to get clear just quite as they make their way into turn 3. Take a look back a little bit farther in the pack at some of these drivers that had to actually start in the back. Currently, though, we take a look at your last driver in the pack. Looks like it is going to be that 6 truck of William H. Scott Jr. Him just kind of playing his time right now. He knows he's still got a decent amount of laps yet. As I just realized that I'm sorry for this. I did not pull up the ticker for you guys yet. I do apologize for that. Let me go ahead and set you that up really quick. There you go. I do apologize about that. We did have to kind of rush in here. Looking just a little bit farther up towards the middle of the field, we got Jimmy Socks in that outside lane. He sees these guys dicing around just a little bit. It looks like we are actually in the... I can't tell. I want to go with its sunset here. It's a little hard to tell with the way the sun is, but it is overcast. It's a little bit more speed that these guys are going to be running around tonight. It always seems like, as we are going to see our first 3-wide action here, Matthew Baker now on the top lane. He's got help from Matt Lee. Those two work really good together. They like linking up. Matt Lee is one heck of a pusher. And you see with 2 trucks, they have already just about cleared that middle lane. They can't quite get it done, though. Team 3 fighting back on the inside. Josh Bonwell, you see he has now managed to drop down in front of that inside lane. That's going to give Team 3 the advantage. 2 of the 3 lanes, but how about that top lane with only 2 trucks of Matthew Baker and Matt Lee still making it work? Usually when you only see 2 trucks in a lane, they can't seem to generate enough momentum. Doesn't seem to be a problem for these 2 right now as they are working that lane for the moment. We've completed 4 laps so far. Everybody looking pretty smooth, pretty clean early. Does look like about the back half of the field playing pretty conservative right now. Looks like that's going to start. See Daniel Eberhardt, Dylan Jones. Those are 2 teammates. They're linked up towards the back right here right now. They don't want to do anything too crazy too early. There will be a pit stop tonight, and we've seen it. Got to make that pit stop. You got to make it count. Got to make it green. If you have any issues, even just a slight lockup, half spin, anything, that can be the end of your races. Matthew Baker, with an assist from Matt Lee, has made his way down to the bottom lane. He is going to be your new leader here. However, that is going to leave his tandem buddy of Matt Teeley all by himself for the moment. But now James Kaufman's going to jump high for the moment. And these guys are really going at it early here. I think Team 3 might want the lead a little bit more than usual here as we see John Mullihan kind of showing a little patience right now behind Matthew Baker, rather. Would not be too surprised to see him jump to that top lane as he would have his teammate. Oh, and actually looks like he's dropping low here. This is, and he's had John Mullihan with an issue. John Mullihan with a rather serious issue. He went into the pits. Oh no, wonder what happened to him. You saw him lock the brakes up, pull to the inside really aggressively. And we'll see if we can find out anything of what happened to him. But back up front now, you see the outside. Matthew Baker has found his drafting partner of Matt Lee. And look at these 2 work. They are pulling away from the pack with just those 2 trucks. As when you get linked onto that truck in front of you, if you are pushing them right, you can make a lot of ground. And these 2 are absolutely flying right now in the front of the pack. As your current top 5 running is Matt Lee, Matthew Baker, Art Greco, J.R. Johnson 4th, and rounding out the top 5 at the moment is James Kaufman in that 19 truck. Not 100% sure on the exact fuel mileage that these guys have tonight, but I do know there will be a pit stop. And I will say, these 2 that we see in the front, They are very smart drivers. They know how to play the pit strategy. So my guess is that if you see them leading, it is not going to be a close pit strategy by any means. They must know that it is a certain amount of stops, no matter if they're leading or not. Otherwise, you would probably see them sit a little bit farther in the pack, just playing it safe. But take a look now on the outside here as we see Daniel Eberhardt with his teammate Dylan Jones. They're starting to get something going now. They saw that two-truck tandem of the mats, and they're going to try to make their way all the way to the front here. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. They are looking, it looks like that 22 truck, we've seen him of Rock Thickstun. He's thought about helping a couple guys so far. He just hasn't seemed to fully commit just yet. With the new drivers, though, he's doing a nice job here. These two now just creeping up their way, almost found the top 5. You see him going by that 04 truck of Ambrose Kniebel. Completed 8 laps so far tonight, and we have had a pretty good amount of lead changes. As I say that, your new leader is Mr. GOAT himself. Matt Lee is now leading that lane, which has started to turn into a little bit more of a single file draft for the moment. And as I say that, you see Jimmy Sox now. He's going to jump to the outside. Back a little farther, Danny Eishelman and Autumn Koger. They're jumping to the outside. We're about to have some 2 wide action throughout the entire pack here in a minute. That group is starting to make their way up on the inside. Ooh, Matt Lee just gets a little bit out of shape. Oh, they're 3 wide. A little bit of contact there between J.R. Johnson and Jimmy Sox. It looks like they're going to keep it together for the moment, but they are 3 wide entering turn 1. The 11's just no momentum. He's got no trucks behind him. He's going to have to fall to the back. Looks like Danny Eishelman thinking about giving a break. He is. Oh, but Jimmy's not taking it. Jimmy, you got to jump in, bud, if you want it. There we go. You see a nice conservative move there early. As Dylan Jones and Daniel Eberhardt, just when you think they can't do it, there they are at the front of the pack. But now Matt Teeley is going to drop low. Sorry, not Matt Teeley, just Matt Lee. But I do want to point out potentially a little bit of bad blood from a couple of these drivers we see up front. Matt Lee and Daniel Eberhardt, we did see last race of these two, a little bit of a late block on the 04's part. Currently the 18 tonight, but Daniel Eberhardt was not too happy with that move. They got to be careful around each other. I don't think they'll be too helpful towards each other, though, tonight. But we'll have to see. So we are 10 laps through this thing. We are 1/4 of the way through the first of a doubleheader race tonight. Second race will have a bigger payout. Same amount of laps. Right on board here with J.R. Johnson, your pole sitter tonight out of Gainesville, Georgia. He's got James Kaufman behind him, one of those Team 3 drivers. Ooh, you see him just have to burp the throttle a little bit there. He cannot push in the corners here, and it looks like it's starting to calm down just a little bit. Ooh, 37 is... It looks like he's thinking about jumping out of line. Ooh, James has to cut him a little bit of a break as Matthew Baker's going to take the lead. Back on that inside line. He's going to have Matt Lee still pushing. Dylan Jones third on that inside lane, followed by Daniel Eberhardt. Down the backstretch. You see, it looks like Daniel jumping up in the outside lane. He's ready to go. That's going to put his teammate slowed up just for the moment as he's waiting for a little bit of help from that inside line. Working their way into turn 3. See James Kaufman. Maybe a little bit of issues with that truck as Daniel Eberhardt is now going to drop down in front. Dylan Jones going to let Daniel slide down. This is a dangerous top 4 at the moment. We are still not seeing... Let's take a look back. We haven't seen too much from any of the McCall Motorsports drivers so far tonight. As we see them kind of riding back here, playing it conservative. They must be also just awaiting that first pit stop. There's always a lot of strategies that play into these, and it seems like every time you think you have the right one, someone else outdoes you. But Mark Vondell looks like he's having an okay run right now. He's also one of the drivers sitting back here waiting for that pit stop. Looks like Mark's internet cooperating with him tonight, and we know when Mark has good internet, he is very dangerous. Mark leading that inside line into 3. As you see the sun out of turn 4, that would imply to me that it is indeed sunset here at Talladega. Gotta wonder if that little bit of overcast, kind of darkness on the track's affecting these drivers at all. I wouldn't think it is.
I know these guys are used to racing about the middle of the day when the sun is at its peak. The track is hot and slick. The ride on board though here with somebody throughout the field. We're just going to pick a random driver and see who it gets to. Looks like we are currently riding on board Jeffrey L. Cox, one of the new drivers tonight. We saw him start second. He's currently running that outside line behind James Coffins. You see what he does here. He's got to be careful. You can't push the pusher. You hear him playing with that throttle as he's trying to get. What you want to do is when you're that third truck in line, you just kind of want to keep that second truck on that first truck's bumper, but you can't push. He's going to drop to that inside now. Oh, ooh. Boy, that sure got tight for a moment between him and James Coffin. But what I was saying is you want to keep that second truck up to the first truck, but you can't push him. If you push that truck, that'll cause a stack up. You usually send that second truck in line spinning. Best view in the house though right now is going to go to your current leader, Matthew Baker, in the 5 truck. And if I got $1 for every time Matt led a lap, well, I would be rich. He's being pushed right now by Matt Lee. These two trying to put on a dominating performance tonight. We'll see if anybody has anything for him as it is still relatively early here. Still a good amount of laps to go as we're not even halfway yet. Oh, looks like Josh Bonwell maybe just got a tiny bit wiggly just for the second. He's going to gather it back up and have no issues. It seems like every time these guys start to line up, there's a couple drivers that don't want to. Ooh! And we see a really close coming together there between the 90 of Daniel Eberhardt and the 11 of Jeffrey Cox. Boy, that got close. That's been the second close call in the last couple laps for Jeffrey Cox, one of the new drivers in here. Maybe just a little nervous. A little antsy with that truck, trying to compete up here. He's having a good run tonight. He's just got to relax a little bit. As we see the 90 truck starting to work the outside again here. He is going to get help from James Kaufman. It looks like we see a couple drivers here maybe pitting. Yes, we do. Let's see if we can go back to him. Oh, and we have one truck spun. That's Mark Vondell. Oh, no, Mark Vondell has spun. We got to go take a look at what happened to Mark. I think the rest of these drivers are going to be clean, but let's take a look here what happened to Mark real quick. Let's ride from TV2. See Mark here getting into the pits. Oh, he just gets in a little too hot. He's going to spin it. Did not hear any contact between him and his teammate Larry McDonald, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Mark gets it going straight. Doesn't have any damage, doesn't appear, so he'll be fine, but he is going to need a caution most likely, because that will throw him off sequence with the rest of these drivers. We'll see if anybody pits this time or if these guys are going to play a little bit different strategy than some of these other drivers. Yep, and it looks like they're all going to stay out. We saw a couple nights ago the strategy of staying out longer than everybody actually worked out for Andrew Navarro, Matt Lee, and Kenny Brady, who is not here tonight. But you got to believe with as good as these two are working together on track, Matthew Baker and Matt Lee are going to plan to pit together. Wouldn't be surprised if some of these other drivers try to follow them. Try to stay really close. Don't want those guys getting a big gap. You don't have to. As you see Mark right there, that is Mark going a lap down. He's going to catch onto the tail end of this draft. Hope for that caution, which we could see very well once we get towards the final laps of this race. But currently we have 24 laps to go. Look, it is looking like this is going to be a one-stop race if I had to guess. If you're just tuning in, you're watching FEG PC Money Racing from Talladega. We got a top 5 payout tonight. First place in this race is going to be going home with not quite $100, as we do not have a full field, but it is still going to be a good payout. Top 5 will be getting paid out. We do have a race right after this, so do not miss out on that. We see Daniel Eberhardt trying to make a charge to the outside. He can't get anyone to go with him for the moment. Dylan Jones is about 4 trucks back. We'll see if he works with him. 2 trucks now on the outside. They are starting to creep their way up. Looks like it is going to be... I can't tell who that one truck is. I'm trying to take a look at him. Is that Travis? It is. That is Travis Hill. Let's give Travis a shout out. We have not talked about Travis tonight. That is another new driver in here in that 21 truck on the outside lane. He's just trying to get a little bit of momentum built for himself here early. Just trying to get up there, race with these guys, feel them out a little bit. He's working his way out. Back of the draft for the moment. That's not going to matter. Up front now, you see Daniel Eberhard. He's got some help from that 11 truck of Jeffrey Cox there, trying to get something going. Daniel has shown the will to want to lead this race since about a quarter of the way through. He has been trying to get to the front. And I think if he gets there, he is planning on staying there. Some of these guys, we know they'd like to kind of sit towards the back, middle. And then once it's starting to come up on pit stops, they want to get to the front. If you are in front of the wrecks, it's usually the best way to avoid them. There could be a lot of chaos getting on the pit road here if all these guys were to pit together. Even when they're all pitting from the bottom lane, it's still difficult as we are going to be coming up on 21 laps to go, almost halfway. And that is going to lock in the fact that this is going to be a one-stop race. And they have been going at it too, so fuel saving shouldn't really be an option. Or shouldn't really be something these guys have to worry about. As you see him coming up on a lap car here. Looks like the 6 car of William, I believe that was William Scott. Yep, William Scott Jr. And that 6 truck, this is him also going a lap down for the moment. That's going to make him and Vondell the 2 trucks fighting for the lucky dog at the moment. We'll see if that makes Mark want to kind of try to charge up to the field, or if he's happy sitting where he is for the time being. And we are seeing these guys really start to single file out now. That's going to make me think the pit stop should be coming up within the next, I'm going to say, 3 laps here. If you are anywhere in that top 5, you are in a pretty good position. But if you're a little bit farther back, you might want to try to get to the front here. As I can tell you from experience, pitting in the back is usually not the most fun way to do it. And this is going to also, I believe, Mark Vondell. You see Mark on the outside back there. He will probably stay out, as I don't think he has much of a choice. He will stay out. But let's go take a look back real quick at a couple of where these other drivers are here. And this is the McCall Motorsports drivers, mixed in with a couple other drivers. The 76 is Ron Morse Jr. He is a McCall Motorsports driver, but it looks like that 88 of Art Greco. He is not a McCall Motorsports driver, but he is still hanging with them. Go back up front real quick to see if these guys decide to pit this time. They don't. They're going to keep staying out. Let's take a look at your track map here. And one thing that we can also look at is it looks like this group has still been gaining time from what I can see on the McCall Motorsports drivers. So the longer they stay out, if they continue this pace, it's just going to make their case better for when they come out of pit road, as they will be farther ahead. McCall Motorsports drivers. You see the sun setting in the distance. Beautiful night of racing here on a Wednesday night. We've got some good events coming up. We'll get to those later, but right now we are staying focused on the on-track action. Let's take a look at your track map. See if we can see. Oh, as we have one truck in the wall. Oh, and he is staying in the wall now. Cannot tell who that was. Let's see if we can go back and get up. That's Josh Bonwell. Josh Bonwell is hard up in the wall. He still has it up in the wall. That is a lot of damage to the right side of that truck. He is going to have to bring it down pit road this time. Oh, and Josh was having a good run. Not sure what happened. Seemed like everything was okay, and then all of a sudden, things weren't. Let's go back and take a look at this real quick if we can. See, he was turn forward with these guys. You see him already getting kind of high right here. Just going up the track, just going up the track. And I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm not sure if something disconnected. If this was real life, I would say that looks like he had a blown tire. But I wouldn't think that's the case here in iRacing, especially at this track. We talked about early, tires should not be a factor. That's an unfortunate break, though, for Josh. We'll see what happens. But back up front, these guys still staying out here as we are coming to 17 to go. Surprised to not see any of these drivers pit. But it is working out as they are still continuing to gap the McCall Motorsports drivers now. The last lap, just from when I went to that replay, they have made up over 2 seconds. That is, the front has pulled away 2 seconds more from that group that pitted early, which I believe is led by Ken McCall Jr. being pushed by teammate Ron Morris Jr. One of the other Money Racing owner, excuse me, Ron Morris. And it's kind of funny because you look at it, this group looks like they're running pretty smooth, bumper to bumper. You see a little check up there from Art Greco, but nothing too major. So I'm a little bit shocked, I would say, to not be able to see these drivers catching up. It seems like it depends here. We know when we see certain drivers such as Jason Maines, Garrett Maines, and Matthew Baker all hook up with just 3 trucks, they're usually able to actually pull away from the field with just 3 trucks. So a little surprised to see that they can't seem to get anything going. They can't at the moment, as we'll take a look back real quick. Josh Bonwell still sitting on pit road. He must have had a major issue software-wise, because he was having a good run and then all of a sudden just hit the wall and hasn't been able to recover since. And you see on your track map there, pay attention to this. See these drivers coming out of 4 now, and you see on the track map the main pack, which is led right now by Matthew Baker. They are entering turn 3, so I'll tell you what, if they were to stay out for a while, they might catch them, but I don't think they will be able to stay out that line. As pit stops should be coming here any moment. These drivers have got to be getting close on fuel based of, and you see Daniel Eberhardt is going to peel off with teammate Dylan Jones. They're going to bring one more truck with them as it looks like Dylan gets in there a little hot. Oh, we got one truck in the grass. I can't get to him. We saw one truck in the grass. We will go back and take a look at it. But Dylan Jones and Daniel Eberhardt, it looked like they both got in clean. Yep, and you see that one truck now just getting up there, I believe. Is that the 22 truck? That's who I would guess. Yep, that's going to be the 22 truck. We can go take a look back at what happened to Rocky here in just a moment. And this is going to be an interesting battle. But let's go up front, actually, and see if these drivers are going to pit this time. As Rocky just had a little bit of a spin entering the pits. And yep, here they come. This is this is going to drag the rest of the field. This is where you got to be careful. A lot of drivers coming on the pits all at the same time. See Matthew Baker, Matt Lee actually gapped the field a little bit. And these guys do a phenomenal job of all getting on the pit road. Look at them all. They are 3 abreast back there, but no issues so far. As long as we have no major issues, these drivers are going to be in really good position. Take a look at your track map up there. You see that white dot just now entering turn 3. That is going to be the race for the lead. That is the other main pack. If that pack can come out, and we also have some other trucks. I believe those blue trucks are going to be Dylan Jones and Daniel Eberhardt. We will see. Yep, you see those 2 teammates making their way through the tri-oval now. They look like they should be able to catch this pack okay, but that other group is really, really far behind right now. They're just now making their way through the tri-oval. I don't know if they're going to have enough time. They're really going to have to work for it if they want it. You see the 22 there. After a penalty, he is coming back onto the track. Oh, a little bit of a... Oh, man, and that got a little close. Matthew Baker knows he's got Matt Lee behind him. They want to go. They're going to go right around this 22 truck. Can't blame him as fast as those 2 been. But that truck is going to help. The 90 of Daniel Eberhardt and the 4 of Dylan Jones are going to pull a little bit of a draft off that truck. Now they're going to jump to the outside, try to jump down in front of that 22. They can't quite get clear yet. They're trying, and it looks like they're finally going to get clear now. And I will tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, at the moment, this is looking like a 4-truck race. 2-on-2 tandem battle currently for the win. We will have to see if any of these other drivers can catch up. You see James Kaufman currently by himself. He's going to have to fall back to this pack led by Danny Eichelman. And then that second main pack led by Kenneth McCall Jr. Not too far behind. They'll catch these 2. They'll catch James Kaufman, and then they will set sail for the leaders and try to catch him. But I don't know if they have enough time. It looks like the gap currently is about 6 seconds. And you have to believe here, if these front 4 play it smart, they'll be able to hold that lead for the next 13 laps, guarantee themselves all money, and then when we hit that white flag lap, they will get really racy. It's been really good, really clean green flag racing so far tonight. We did not, unfortunately, have all the features we usually have set up tonight, as we just had to make sure YouTube would work smoothly and properly tonight. So definitely looking for your guys' feedback. If it went good for you, please do leave a like and subscribe. Ghost Racing Network is trying to grow. Me and Bryce currently working together. Bryce bringing me on. Appreciate him a lot. But we need the support from you guys. As long as you like the streams, we'll keep doing what we're doing. You see that backpack now off of turn 2. I think they are starting to make a little ground. Let's take a look at the gap. And actually, they're not. It's back currently to almost 6.5 seconds now. However, they did finally all group up. So don't count them out just yet. But Matthew Baker and Matt Lee have still been lights out. You see Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones still sticking with them. And I don't look to see those two trucks make a move right now, as why pull anyone else into a battle when you can guarantee yourselves money? That is got to be the mindset going to those drivers' minds right now. Let's see if we can take a look at our blimp cam. Can get a little bit of a better view at all between the distance of these drivers. You see them in turn one now. And as these guys are just entering turn one, these drivers are just entering turn two. That is the gap that they have to make up. We're going to be coming to 10 laps to go this time. Still a 4-truck breakaway for the moment, and they are still putting a gap on those trucks behind. Actually, it's kind of evened out. Still very, very slight gain. You see this battle. This battle, though, and this is something I want to stress, don't count this battle out. This battle might get a little exciting towards the end. As you see that lead truck right now of the 03 Kenneth McCall Jr., he is just unfortunate. He is going to have to be a little careful here. He does have teammates behind him. However, the spot he is in right now is 5th, and that 5th spot is the final paying money spot. So these guys are all going to work together, as it looks like they'll probably group up into one big pack here shortly. That front pack, hoping these guys don't have any issues. I hope nothing goes wrong, as they would not want to see a caution with the position they're in right now. But once we hit that white flag, I think this group will get a little racy, as they all are going to try to take that last money spot away from Ken McCall. Going to try to hold it off. Back up front, your current top 5 still Matthew Baker 1st, Matt Lee 2nd, Daniel Eberhardt 3rd, Dylan Jones 4th, and rounding out the top 5 who we saw back there leading, Ken McCall Jr. While these guys are single filed out, we're just going to take a quick minute to go over a couple things. Sorry, actually, never mind. We are going to hold that till the end, I think. Keep the attention focused on these guys, as they earned it. They paid their way in here tonight. They're putting on a pretty good show. It's always nice to see these nice green flag races where it comes down to pit strategies. One of the famous quotes from John Mullihan himself, who we did see in here tonight. John had, unfortunately, looks like he also had some issues with teammate Josh Bonwell. I do not see John on the... Oh, yeah, we saw him lock the brakes earlier and then pull off track, so he had some issues. But one of the famous quotes we did hear from John Mullihan one time was, the pit stops separate the pretenders from the real ones. And you can see what happens when you execute good on pit road and have a good pit strategy, as these guys have guaranteed themselves money, bearing no caution, which we could see. Let's take a look back at this pack. As you see now, they have formed up into one big pack. And we'll see if these guys start getting a little racy, as it is almost 2 races. You have one race for the win, and then this race, which is going to be the race for the final money spot. And it actually, I'll tell you what, it looks like they are starting to close the gap a little bit now. They've got it down to almost 5.5 seconds. They have made up a second worth of time. They're going to have to keep hustling if they're going to make that gap up, but a little bit of hope looking for that backpack here, as they are going to definitely give it everything they have. Looks like there's confirmation from Josh Bonwell in the chat. He did have technical difficulties earlier. Yes, Josh, you did not ruin anyone else's night, man. Just rough to see you go on the wall. It almost looked like you had a flat right front. However, I know you can't really blow the tires here in this game. 7 laps to go, still being led by Matthew Baker. And one thing to note with this front pack that I haven't made a big enough deal about is you see these 2 lap cars that looks like Rocky Thickstun, and there is another truck who I have not talked about tonight, and I do apologize for that. We try to give everyone a shout out here. We're giving him a shout out now. Dijon Monte. Unfortunately, not his night for the moment. There is a second race after this. If we see him in there, he could get it back, but these guys could certainly make someone else's night, as they still have the chance to play a role in who wins this race. These two decide to go help that outside line. That might give Matthew Baker and Matt Lee a little bit more than they can handle. We'll have to see. Laps ticking down. And that group behind now has the gap to about 5.25 seconds. And unfortunately, they are making it up, but just too little, too late. They're not going to have enough time unless they get something going. Once they get to about that 1.5 mark, that would be when they're in the draft. And if they could get in that draft, they would pull time like it is nobody's business. But I just don't think they have enough time. Normally we do a crank it up segment. Ooh, and look at this. You see that second pack right there. That is certainly a daunting view. As I was saying, normally we would do a crank it up. However, we do only have single file racing throughout the track. It wouldn't be as exciting, so we're not going to do that. We'll just take a look at some of the cooler camera views that we have. But stay tuned for the second race. We'll make sure we get one early just to be safe. If you think Matt Lee isn't pushing Matthew Baker with all he has still, that's all you need right there. You can see the inside of his engine bay. He's so close. Take a look back here at Daniel Eberhardt in that Ford F-150. Gotta think Daniel and Dylan are just kind of stalking right now, waiting to make their move. They want to make sure that they can stay checked out on the rest of the field before they make a move. But I keep talking about it because it keeps becoming more of a problem. That second pack, oh, it looks like they may have had a hiccup actually. No, I take that back. That second pack now has the gap down to 4.6 seconds. So they are still making headway, and this might actually get a lot closer than it seemed like it first was going to be. Let's see. Look how smooth the leader's hands are. That's Matthew Baker that you are currently riding with. You don't see those hands moving too much. If you're some of these guys, and I believe every single one of these top four right now were drivers that did start in the back, and you see that's not a problem for them as they have managed to make their way back up here. No problem. And all of a sudden now that backpack, the gap has unfortunately stretched back out a little bit for the moment. It looks like it is now about 5 seconds, as there may have been a little bit of an incident back here. Let's see if I missed something real quick. Take a look here. It looked like they were pretty grouped up. Oh, this is earlier. I do apologize. So we're going to go back live instead. But I am wondering if there's a little incident. We saw this pack was a lot of drivers, and now it is not so many. They're separated a lot more, that is for sure. Got to think your current leader of that second pack, Ken McCall Jr., is liking that. That's going to be less competition. He's going to have to fend off once we hit that white flag to keep the money position. And we will see if Ron Morris Jr., if he sticks to being a good teammate here at the end, or if he decides to make a move. Good teammates can certainly still make a move. Back up front. And that gap now is also back down to 4.6 seconds. But it's looking like it's kind of holding around that region. It's not going to matter. We are 2 laps to go. I promise you they cannot catch right now unless a major issue. It's too much time. So now I got to think the race is on as we see Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones starting to back it up just a little bit here. Think they might start to be setting up that run. They're going to have to get a really big run, as it is going to be a 2-on-2 classic tandem battle to end it. It's going to come down to who has the better pusher and which side the momentum sways. I think Daniel's just playing with the air just a little bit right now. He's setting it up. Matthew Baker is going to take the white flag one more time around. We'll see if he can hold him off. He's got Matt Lee behind him. We know Matt certainly also wants to win. Wouldn't be surprised to see him make a move. But they're going to have to fend off these two of Daniel Eberhardt and Dylan Jones if they want that to happen. You see the 9 truck now jump to the outside. That is a lapper, but this would be a good chance for these 2 trucks to jump up high. They might get some help. Looking in the back, the gap is down to 3.5 seconds, but it doesn't matter because it's the last lap. These two still sizing up their move. And there they go. They're dipping out. Daniel Eberhardt's going to try to get a really hard side draft here on Matt Lee, working their way into turn 3. Here they come out of turn 4. Now the momentum's on the outside. Daniel Eberhardt's got to run. He's going to take the lead from Matthew Baker. We'll see if the momentum's going to hold long enough. Matt Lee's now pushing really hard back. Oh, this is going to come down right to the line. Matthew Baker starting to get a push. Oh, is it going to be enough? It's going to be close at the line. It's going to be Daniel Eberhardt. Daniel Eberhardt's going to win at Talladega with the assist from his teammate Dylan Jones. What a push. The last half of the lap, they are going to get the job done. Daniel Eberhardt in the 90 truck is going to win it, and it looks like the battle for 5th is going to go to Kenneth McCall Jr. in that final money spot. But let's give the credit back to your winner tonight. After a really nice classic last lap pass by Daniel Eberhardt, he's got to be thanking his teammate on that one. Boy, that sure did come down to the wire, though. Very close for sure. And Daniel doesn't appear is going to do any burnouts. Doesn't seem to really care too much about doing the burnouts. We saw that from his teammate Dylan Jones, who won the other night, did not do any burnouts. And let's take a look at your finishing results. Give me just 1 second here. Before we do that, we're going to run just one more ad real quick so I can set that all up. And I'm going to try to get interviews with the top 3. Unfortunately, though, due to last minute setting up, I'm not sure if they will all be in there. I will certainly check, though, but we will be right back. And unfortunately, it looks like we were not able to find your top. We found Matthew Baker. We're going to get an interview with him in just a moment, but we were not able to find your winner, Daniel Eberhardt III, or your third place finisher, Dylan Jones. So we do apologize for that again. I will work on that, guys. I do apologize. But we are here with your second place finisher who just barely got edged out right at the line, Matthew Baker. Matthew, you got a copy? Well, you had a good run all night, Matt. You played the strategy absolutely perfect. Matt Lee pushed you pretty much the whole race. You guys looked like you were working good together. You were flying throughout the entire race. Unfortunately, though, just a little bit, the momentum swung with the outside there right at the end. What more did you need to get the win at the end? Hold on, Matthew. 1 second. Just 1 second, actually. Let me make sure that I don't have you muted here. So I will try to fix that real quick.
All right, and we are back here after a little bit of issues. We do have Matthew, though. Matthew, you still got a copy?
Gotcha.
I do apologize for that. But as I was saying, you had a really good run all night. You played the pit strategy perfect, man. You and Matt Lee worked great together all night. Just at the end, you just didn't quite have enough. That outside just edged you out. What more did you need to get the win?
I think the lap cars helped the two cars behind us really get that run so they could get to the outside. They were backing it up the whole time, and Matt and I were trying to back up the pace, but you can only go so slow before they just blow your doors off. So we were just going to stick to the bottom and have us four fight out for the money instead of bringing the whole field back. So it was a good race between us four, so I'm glad it was a nice, clean race the whole time.
It was a very clean race. We saw it go green all the way, which really allowed you guys, which were good on pit strategy, pretty much guarantee yourselves money. Is there anyone you want to thank or give a shout out before we let you go tonight?
Yep, just thanks to Coasting Thunder, Baker & Son Construction, EBG Motorsports. Thanks to Matt there. It's fun racing Daniel and Dylan, and thanks for putting on the broadcast and family watching back at home.
Absolutely. Your mom was rooting you on the whole time. Hopefully we will see you in the next race. We do have a doubleheader tonight, but thank you, Matthew Baker. Congrats on the one. We will see you next time.
Thanks, buddy.
And that was your race winner, or sorry, second place finisher, almost your race winner, Matthew Baker. We do still have some stuff to run through here real quick. First of all, we do need to go through your results. Let's get it back to full screen for everyone. Your finishing results for tonight. First place, Daniel Eberhardt the third. Second, Matthew Baker third. Dylan C. Jones fourth. Matt Lee fifth. In the final money spot, Ken McCall Jr. Sixth, Ron Morris Jr. Seventh, Autumn Koger. Eighth, Larry McDonald. Ninth, Danny Eishelman. 10th, Jeffrey L. Cox. 11th, James Kaufman. 12th, Art Greco. 13th, Travis C. Trussell. 14th, J.R. Johnson, who was your pole sitter. 15th, William H. Scott. 16th, Jimmy Sox. 17th, Mark Fondell. 18th, Ambrose Kniebel. We did have a couple more rows here because we'd have 22 drivers tonight. Looks like 19th is going to be Rocky Thickstone, one of the new drivers. 20th, another new driver, Dejan Monte. 21st, who we saw have issues, is Josh Bonwell. And 22nd, last truck, another truck we saw have issues early, is going to be Josh Mullihan. That will wrap it up for your results. But let's go back and take a look at this last lap, as it certainly did get exciting. It came down all the way to the last lap. Let's take a look at it from where the move started and how it ended. Let's take a look at your winner, Daniel Eberhardt, here and see how he got the job done. Let's ride TV1 here. See if that gives us Daniel and Dylan built up the run. They kind of checked it out for a lap or two. They got that momentum. They sure took it. And usually the outside, you see that just broke off Matt Lee for Matthew Baker for just a moment. Dylan Jones, I think, was able to beat him to the bumper. And once those two linked up, they just kind of stayed linked up. We saw the inside fighting back, but it was just a little bit too late. We'll see just how close this gets. Right there, that's how close it was, ladies and gentlemen. If you had about another 100 yards, might have been Matthew Baker, but you see right there the four truck of Dylan Jones is linked on just a little bit tighter than Matt Lee at the moment. Just the way it goes. However, we are going to have another race tonight. We will be stopping this stream and starting a new one. But before we do that, in case you won't be tuning in, Jeffrey Ford FEG PC will be having a money race on Friday, one of the bigger races of the year. I believe it's like a New Year's Dash. That race, I'm talking huge payouts. You see it there, $1,625 worth of payouts. First place, $325. That race will be broadcasted by OSRN, so go check them out. And if you are a driver watching, make sure you go get yourself signed up for that. That is going to be all we have for this stream. Like I said, we will be back. We have a doubleheader, but we're going to let you guys go for now. Thank you all for coming out. I appreciate you all. Don't forget to like